I've noticed something recently on social media, and perhaps you have too. If you go onto, let's say, YouTube and type in living in Italy, it's so interesting the number of videos that you see come back that have either a negative title or a thumbnail that implies that there might be some negativity within the video. And I have to be honest, some of them are pretty borderline clickbait worthy. Now, from a creator's perspective, I can understand why this is. On YouTube, it gives you really, really detailed analytics for every video that you publish on the platform. And there is a little statistic that a lot of creators secretly crave, even if they don't openly admit it: the 1 of 10. This appears if you publish your video and it performs the best out of the previous 10 videos you've published on your channel. And honestly, it's something that makes you feel that you've hit a good topic and that there is potential for that video to do very, very well on the platform. And what I've noticed from my own content is that a lot of those videos are negative videos. If we look at like the top 5 performing videos on my channel of all time, the views tend to correlate to the negative title. And so it's very easy as a creator to get stuck in this cycle of creating negative content because it actually works on social media.
I have my own example. These 2 videos were published on my YouTube channel back in 2024, within a week of each other, both with the exact same format, 7 reasons. But the 7 reasons not to visit Sicily video far outperformed in terms of views and comments compared to its more positive version.
But it's not just on social media that you see this concept play out. Those beloved expat groups, in inverted commas, that I often reference are cesspits at times of negativity. People will tell you, "Oh, welcome to the nightmare. Oh my goodness, go home. Don't even think about moving to Italy." You will see people's dreams get dampened all the time within those communities. And you also see people bond over their shared negative experiences, rather than perhaps trying to find an alternative solution to their problems. So where does this love of negativity actually come from? Psychologist Roy Baumeister and colleagues reviewed decades of research in 2001 and found that across almost every area of human experience, from memory to relationships, negative events have a stronger and more lasting impact on us than positive ones. They called this the negativity bias, and it explains why we naturally gravitate toward and bond over negative experiences. Essentially, we love negativity because our brains evolved to treat it as urgent and important, and bonding over it becomes a shortcut to trust because it means that we're showing vulnerability and, if you like, a shared worldview.
So we understand the psychology behind negativity, but let's talk about the reality of being stuck in this cycle. Because if we take the perspective of a creator into account, if you are stuck on the treadmill of constantly producing negative content because it performs and because it grows and your channel and helps you to gain more visibility, chances are at some point you're going to wind up feeling pretty pessimistic about life in Italy. It's not easy to be positive about something when you're constantly trying to focus on the negative aspects of it. I can liken this experience to my time in the police. I was a police officer in the Metropolitan Police in London for 6 years. And I can honestly tell you that that job made me quite pessimistic of life. And in a way, it was a relief to leave that career and actually start to be able to see the positive aspects of life once more. Because when you're constantly surrounded by things that lead you to a more negative place, then of course it's going to have some kind of an impact on you. Now, I would also say from the perspective of people sharing their experiences in these expat forums, the traditional ones anyway, it's no good to just be bonding over the negativity. At some point, you have to try and find a way to manage the situation that you are navigating. I've always been a person to be like, if there's a problem, find the solution. Talk about the problem, identify the problem, share how you're feeling about it. But then at some point, you've got to move away from that and try and find the solution, because otherwise you get stuck in this cycle of negativity. And we all know, especially based on the research that I've spoken about before, that negativity loves company. And so when you're in this place, you are constantly searching for other people that you can continue to vent to and be negative with. It's the cycle of life. And so it doesn't help you if you decide to move to Italy to be stuck in that cycle. It doesn't help you if you're struggling with life in Italy to only want to hear about the struggles of others. Yes, it can help you to feel seen and heard, absolutely. But at some point, you've got to find a way to get yourself out of the situation that you're in and back into enjoying life in this country once more. I always think that people don't move to Italy because it's a shit country. Excuse my French. There's always a reason why you have decided to live in this place. And it's usually connected to beauty, opportunity, a change in life direction, a chance to rediscover some aspect of your life that you feel that you are missing. There's always something beautiful connected to your move to Italy in the vast majority of cases. It's just that when we get here and we realize that life isn't necessarily the fantasy that we might have wished it was, that's when we tend to lean more into the negativity and we forget what really led us to this country in the first place. Now, I feel I should caveat this with the fact that, of course, it's important to be real about life here. You should know, if you've been watching my channel for some time, that that is the ethos behind everything that I do, everything that I create. It's to share the reality of life in Italy so that people can move here eyes wide open and truly thrive in this country because they are building a realistic life and not a fantasy. However, it doesn't mean that just because you talk about the reality, you can't always tap into the beauty of things. Life here is tough. I think all of you are very well rehearsed in that now, but your experiences here will not be the same as other people's. Your experiences in Italy will vary depending on what you're going to be doing in this country. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. It also depends on where you live in this country, your age. There are so many factors that mean that your journey is very unique. And so I kind of feel that you need to have your eyes wide opened and to be prepared for what is happening in this country and the life that you're going to live. But you can also lean into the beauty of it as well and the reasons why you decided to move here in the first place. This is something that I have been reminded of recently within my very own community space. We've been talking about this a lot, talking about the negativity on social media to do with Italy, talking about why it's important to lean into your why and the reason that you decided to move here in the first place. And I have been reminded through the enthusiasm of the members in my community about their upcoming moves to Italy of what my why is. Because I'm honest with you, when I launched my community in January of this year, I was starting to feel pretty ground down by life here. We'd had a pretty tough, 2.5 years in Palermo, and I'd seen another side to Italy that perhaps I'd sampled a little bit before when I lived in Salerno, but I really fully experienced it in Palermo. And so I was feeling a little bit negative within myself, and I'd noticed that a lot of my content on my channel around that time was really kind of leaning into that focus as well. It was a reflection of what I was feeling at that time. And so to see those members within my community who are about to make the move here, talking about the experience with enthusiasm and leaning into the positive aspects that they're going to gain from such a move has rubbed off on me a little bit and has made me reflect on my why, because my members are not fantasists. They are fully educated on the realities. My community very much has that Miss Britaly element all the way through. But I think it's just created this safe space where people can dream and dream out loud and also share how they are navigating life on the ground, because I also have members within the community living here as well. And so it's a place of support, because I think it's very easy, as we have touched on, to find the negativity online, to find those places where you can vent, the places where you can say, but people just have great imaginations and fantasy. They don't know what it means to live here. It's easy to find those places. But just because somebody tries to maintain a positive stance on things or tries to lean into their reason for moving here and try to stay in that headspace doesn't mean that they're not open to the reality. It's just a coping mechanism. And I think it's probably the healthier coping mechanism than being stuck in a cycle of negativity. Negativity sells. Negativity gets you views. Negativity gives you an opportunity to talk to somebody else that's had the same experience. But what negativity doesn't do is really give you an accurate representation of life. It's based on usually an individual circumstance or a particular situation, but it's not representative of everything. Because I think the other thing that I find really funny is people can be negative about living here, but some of them still remain. So if you still choose to remain in a country that you feel negative about, perhaps then it's not that bad in its entirety. You can actually find some goodness within it. Now, this is not to discredit anybody who is struggling in Italy at the moment. I've been there. I've had my fair share of struggles in the course of nearly 8 years. But what this video, I hope, will get you to do is to look at the situation that you're dealing with at the moment, the struggles, the difficulties, and try to reframe it differently. Try to find a way that you can solve the situation that you're dealing with, or get support, or view it from a different perspective. Honestly, I have probably learned some of the most powerful coping mechanisms living in Italy, ways of reframing situations, acceptance. Acceptance has been massive, because you know by now that things here don't necessarily run the way that they should. And it can be really challenging for this reason. But accepting things here and not trying to change them and not trying to always be in opposition to them has been an absolute game changer for me, and has made it easier for me to settle into life here. But I would also say, just reframing situations, trying to look at things from a different perspective, not always making comparisons to your previous country. So many people do that. And we have to remember Italy really is unique in the way it manages a lot of things. And even within the composition of the country itself, and the way that no two parts of the country ever feel quite the same. And so it's this. Negativity has a purpose in a way, because from negativity, you can either take it and let it help you to grow and do something different in your life and course correct. And maybe, you decide Italy is not for you anymore, in which case you've taken some action based on that experience you've had. Or it can take you on the other path, where you live a life perpetually stuck in this cycle, and make it mean that you don't open your eyes to what is really, truly around you. Sometimes I have to pinch myself to say that I live in the Salerno province. I live in the same province where there is the Amalfi Coast. I mean, it's quite something. And yet I too can get stuck sometimes complaining about the way systems work here and the way processes operate. It's just life here. And with life, you've just got to roll with it. If you've enjoyed this video, this is the one I think you should watch next. I'll see you in the next video.